open on Monday, the 16th of June 2025 at 7 p.m. We haven't got any fire drill tonight, but if the alarm does sound, please leave the building either by the front door or by the doors behind me. Thank you. Going on to the agenda. Apologies for absence.
We have Councillor Fraser, and we don't have any apologies to Councillor Reynolds.
Okay. Declarations of interest. Anyone got any declarations? No. Public participation. First, Thomas. Yes.
Hiya. I attended with my family the sensational day that was held on the Breck on Saturday. I attended with my family, including my niece who is diagnosed autistic. I wanted to feedback what a wonderful time we had. It was a joy to watch her engage in all of the activities. The fact that the event was a free admission, free water and fruit, as well as a free fairground ride was a really lovely touch. My sister spoke with several organisations down there, including the Benjamin Foundation, and received really useful information, which can only support her in her journey with my niece and us as a family. It was lovely each organisation brought their own activities. Although we did not use the quiet room, I think it was a fantastic addition for in the event my niece found the day overwhelming, which is likely, but very unpredictable. I have seen online some negative feedback, but also some really constructive ideas for moving forward, and really hope to see the SEND Day return next year, bigger and better. Lastly, I'd like to thank the council for putting on an event that is exclusive for SEND children, as there isn't much provision in this area, despite the fact that we have lots of schools in the surrounding area, as well as lots of families within this area that do have SEND children, and it can be a real struggle. And I really do feel that Attleborough has the space in our community for such an event, so I really hope to see it return next year.
Thank you. Any comments? No. Any other resident like? No. No further participation. There is a chance to have another public participation at the end of the meeting. Minutes of the Open Spaces meeting of the 19th of May 2025. Any comments?
No.
No. Proposer?
Yeah.
Seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Attleborough Town Football Club Athletic Academy draft agreement. Has anyone got anything? So I'll take it you've all read. Councillor Taylor.
Yeah. I opened the link. On the agenda it says AAA response, Attleborough Flex Academy. Is it going to be ATFC response? Because the response with the questions obviously come from them, but I didn't know if that was something.
The one that says ATFC Gamers Response, that's the football club.
That's where I've got mistaken, thank you.
Yeah, and then there's another document that says Attleborough Athletics Academy. That is their response. Yeah, so there are two separate documents, yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to talk members through, just for the members of the public, just for transparency? Is there anything that you'd like to add from those documents, Sharon?
Yeah, I can go through just the points briefly. They're just asking for clarification. Is the annual 5-year rolling contract, they assume it would be for 12 months of the year, which I would say yes, because they also do training in winter as well, in the summer as well. It does say while some teams take a break for a few weeks over the summer and usage is generally less, we do use the field all year round, so I would say yes, it is all year round. But When I put it in, I was actually doing it on the assumption that it was the same training as the recreation bank. They have made clarifications there, in that, they currently train on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday evenings for gamers. They were just also concerned about the, £30 a session, but I didn't mean that they had to pay £30 a session for training. Training would be included. But the £30 a session would be for, if they played any special events or possibly friendlies, so they would be far and few between. So, the £750 that I'm proposing would include just normal training. So I think that's only fair, isn't it? Did you want to say something, Dana?
Yeah, so it'd be the regular scheduled training and their regular
Regular
scheduled
match
matches.
Yes, yeah.
There would only be any additional matches out of their
Yes, yeah.
regular timetable.
But they thought I was going to charge them for £30 for training, which obviously would break them.
So,
Councillor Taylor.
yeah, so, struggling. And I'm now trying to just recall the price, and I'm going through that cemetery. £750, so how much does that, £14 a week? Yeah, so it's £750 for training, £750. That wasn't it? Right, yeah, so I was thinking maybe that was an annual fee, and I was thinking I didn't see an annual fee, I only see I thought she needed 750. I was thinking I only saw a weekly.
Yeah.
It will be 750
Yeah,
a
it
year.
would just be 750,
£14.
which would be put into the agreement, yeah. But when I put that £14 in, etc., that was just working it out on a, like divided by 12 and done by 4 or whatever.
And they're happy with that. They've come back that they're
Yeah,
happy.
they just wanted to make sure that it was clear and that they were clear with what they were paying for and what they weren't paying for.
Because you did take into account, obviously, the facilities there and
Yes.
gamers are theirs.
Yes.
And that's why it's less than the rec.
Yes, absolutely. And also I think I put a stipulation in there that they do need to tidy up their building because it really does look a bit of a state at the moment. So when they do sign the agreement, they've got to keep it in a presentable manner on the outside and perhaps on the inside as well.
I've never actually been inside.
I haven't.
Councillor Taylor.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just actually going to raise that I was at Games last week, putting up some of the advertising for the send day at the play area. And I did notice that the goals weren't screened, and that was a condition when we said that they could put the goals there. The condition was that they were screened, so it was in keeping with the surrounding. And I just think it would be a good show, for that to be done in this process as well, please.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and they were mentioning, in addition to the regular play season and training, they do hold soccer schools during school holidays to give children a constructive activity. Please can these activities be included in our standard permitted use within the annual fee?
What's anyone think about that? Happy? No? Yeah.
I think from what I can gather from their adverts, they don't actually charge for the soccer schools, do they? Oh, they do they? Okay, yeah. What do you think then? They charge anyway, don't they? Everything. that they do.
I think they charge to raise funds, don't they? I think
Yes,
it's how they how they maintain what they do.
Taylor.
I'm okay if they wanted to include that.
I was going to suggest, as it is an opportunity for them to raise funds for the club, and it's a regular thing that they do, so I would say it falls within that category of regular use.
Yeah,
And I was also going to say their tournament as well, I feel like that should be included.
yeah, absolutely.
Sorry. Go on, sir. No, she couldn't shout. Yeah,
Well, I was just going to finish off really. They said that they're going to paint the exterior of the building. One final point. They would like to request access outside of training and match times to mark the pictures, but I think that's as read is that they can access that when they like, because obviously it's got be convenient because they are volunteers. So I'm okay with that.
Councillor Toots.
Sorry,
No.
me again. Yeah, so just to check, this will now, so if we're in agreement with the points that have been raised, and the consensus is that we'll permit the soccer school to come within their regular use, and we'll permit the annual tournament to come in that regular use as well, and they won't be charged for additionally. And the points raised in this discussion will then be formalised into the lease that will then be presented back to members in the form of a final draft.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that will be provided to Outford Town Football Club as well.
Yeah.
Ideally, can that be done in advance of it being presented to members so we can have any final feedback or comments before we then give final sign-off, please?
Yeah. Do you mean sort of like via email, and then it comes to council with the, yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Thank you.
So do you want us to put that forward for another meeting? Or
Yeah.
Well, I just think in that case, it's going to be actioned into that final draft, so it doesn't really go on resolution tonight, does it? Because it will be
Yeah.
resolved in
This is
in
just
the draft.
information gathering, yeah.
Okay then. Moving on, Jubilee Wood.
Oh, sorry, we've just got to do the
I'll pick one.
athletics academies on the
Oh,
same.
sorry, yeah. The Athletics Academy draft agreements.
Yeah. And
Everyone read that?
yeah,
Any
Oh.
comments? Sorry,
that's right, yeah, comments first.
any comments? Everyone happy? Oh, sorry, Councillor
No,
Dale.
so I just think the comment, paying for open space that's gifted to the community, I can see that, but it's got to be upkept. You know, you can't just use something. And the other thing I will pull up here, they said they paid for their own kit. Well, I know they had a lovely grant for that.
Did they? Okay.
Oh, yes. I don't begrudge them it, but let's be.
Yeah, that's fine. I think the big issue is the, for instance, I think the 2 points that they want to make is paying £750 a year for an open space. They do have a container, and they do have obviously the long jump. And we do the white lining for them. My proposal was that if they pay £750 a year for the open space, then I think I said paying 1,200 if they want the privilege of white lining. They could pay £750 a year regardless. But if we do the white lining, we would charge them 1,200. But if they want to do the white lining themselves, they can source the paint themselves. So that's what I'm trying to get at. If they did, again, we're going back to what my original suggestion was. If they did go for the, we will ask you to white line, they can always get a grant for that. So.
So I have maybe not questions. Questions would be maybe not the right term. I do have a couple of comments. How often do they train? Well, it is, yeah, that, I have some comments to follow that question up.
They are there on a Saturday morning, I think from 10:30, and they are there on a Monday evening as well, for much the same time.
Twice a week. So the
Yeah.
proposal is £7.50 per session. That would be the same, yeah? If it's £750 a year and the club pays £750 a year, that's £7.50 a session. I do appreciate they don't probably have as many members as the football club, and I do appreciate then they probably don't have the means to make as much money as the football club do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that, I know £7.50 a week is nothing, is it? Actually,
Well,
you can't even buy a packet of fags, I don't think, for £7.50 anymore.
yeah,
But
I put 750, but I was thinking perhaps that is too high for them.
I just think it
down to
is.
450 or something.
I just think that maybe it is that they don't have as many members
Yeah.
paying in. I don't know if you would like, if anyone would like to mute another figure. I wouldn't like to mute another figure, but I just think they do only have a container, the football club have the building and a container and the compound for their nets
Yeah.
and multi-pitches. I know they mark
Yes.
their own pitches
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
but they are a much smaller organisation. To be paying the same does, for me personally, feel just a little bit unfair.
Yeah, and that's a fair comment, and I put that figure in, we half expecting that they would come back to ask for a lesser annual fee, but there's still the issue of the white lining, because should the taxpayer, it costs £1,560 per year on average to white line. I was going to ask them to pay probably about 3/4 of that, because they are the major users of that. However, the Wyndham Athletics Club do use it, and then other, people just use it generally. Maybe 1,200 is also a little bit too high. So, I mean, a contribution, which they could always apply for the grant, or, and that means that at least they are contributing, and then we continue to do the white lining.
Councillor Tony.
Thank you. Am I right in thinking that at present the use is completely free?
For them, yes.
Okay, so this is just my trail of thought, Sharon, and I apologise if it conflicts with obviously the work that you've undertaken to bring this proposal to us. But I'm minded to say, and I do agree with Councillor Taylor, the football club have far more frequent use and dominate that space a lot more than what the Athletics Academy do. I do appreciate that they do have, items cited like the long jump pit and like the containers that are there constantly. But I do think that we should be asking for a lesser fee. And you say, did you mean 450 is something that you'd consider quite fair and reasonable on that balance? And I think that if we were to accept that and say, okay, £450 seems like a fair figure to us.
Yeah.
That's £450 that we're not currently getting that would contribute towards that white lining. But ultimately, that white lining was undertaken by the council, someone correct me if I'm wrong, before the Athletics Academy started using it. And is accessible to the whole of the rest of the community, anyone that's interested in sports or running or, just wants to use it at their leisure.
Yeah.
So I'm minded to say there shouldn't be an additional charge for that white lining, because whatever charge we put in place would offset against it anyway.
Okay.
Any other comments?
They do,
Sorry, Councillor Bell.
they do say they can train without white lines.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't, if we decided not to, it wouldn't stop them training, but the white lines were put there at the request of the boxing club years ago. That was how they originated.
Okay. Useful to know.
Councillor Taylor. Oh, sorry, Councillor Westwood.
I was
Sorry,
just
apologise.
agree that on the basis that the white lining was already carried out historically,
Okay.
why should they suddenly start paying for it? They've not got sole use of it.
Yeah.
Arguably the football club may maybe have sole use of areas of it, I don't know. I don't get involved in that kind of thing, but and then there's certainly the argument of a lesser membership and certainly lesser facilities by the sounds of things. So
Yeah.
I think 450 sounds a reasonable
Yeah.
figure.
450 as is, and no fee for the white line. I'm sure they'll be very pleased with that.
I think they shouldn't have it for free.
Oh,
Because when they are using it, they get priority use.
yes.
I'm guessing
yeah,
so.
yeah.
They can. Joe Public can't turn up and during an athletics club
Yeah.
training session and join in.
Or have dogs walking in.
Yeah. So I think that they pay a price for that exclusive use while they're there. But the lesser fee sounds reasonable.
So it's no to the 1,200 and 450 reduced fees.
So is that proposed by Councillor Taylor and seconded by Councillor Westby?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll do
all
that.
those in favour?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Can I just, while we're mentioning,
Yes.
talking about Gamers Meadow and the use of the field and what, like was just mentioned, dogs running in between, I think we maybe just need to do a little more publicising for residents to be mindful how they control their dogs, because I know I had a parent from one of the youth teams, and predominantly on a Sunday it is the weekend game, as it is the youth teams that play, that whilst there was matches going on down there, the other weekend some gentleman walked straight on the field, let his dog off and straight onto the pitches while the kids were trying to play. And whilst everyone is very vocal that that field belongs to this community, yes, it does. So be respectful of every other user. And when there's children, and some children don't like dogs, some children are scared of dogs, I think we really do need to get strict. I think it is about being strict. But when the kids are playing football down there, those dogs should be under control on that top field. It's not a big ask. The bottom field is completely empty. You've only got a little walk to get to that field. Keep your dog under control on that top field.
Okay, yeah.
Councillor T. Taylor.
Bit of exposure on Facebook and also small
Sorry.
signage.
Sorry.
I was going to make two suggestions. The first was actually going to be off the back of the last discussion, which was the Athletics Academy. I mean, personally, I'm not fussed either way, but the Athletics Academy had said that they could still train without the white lining. So if the white lining is incurring an annual cost and obviously taking, time for the ground staff, that they could be doing other things. Perhaps actually a letter to each of the sporting groups in town just to say, do you use this? What effect would it have on you if it was gone, and undertake a bit of consultation about whether or not it's still, required. The second thing that I was going to suggest is on that said signage, having some information as to the times that it's in use by those clubs. So on the signage, it could say, Aqua Town Football Club, use this site for youth football, this day, these times. Our Athletics Academy use the site on this day and this day at these times, so that people, before even entering the field, are aware. And hopefully that would act as some form of deterrent.
Yeah, brilliant, yeah.
Councillor Dawson.
The current signage at the moment, yes, it's a bit worn and stuff like that, but it does dictate that dogs should be let off in the other field and that they can walk their dogs around. But yeah, I've spoken to some dog owners before because I live near Gaines anyway, and also people who have played golf on there, which is also banned. So, because obviously it damages the field for the footballers and stuff like that. So yeah, if we can have the signage updated.
I think the signage that's there is very confusing as well. It's a bit busy and a bit confusing.
Just out of curiosity, how much signage have you got? Is it just one at the main entrance, or is it all the
I think
entrances?
there's one at the big main entrance, and isn't there one halfway down anymore? There used to be a big one halfway down,
Yeah.
in between the two fields, and one on the gate.
I'll do a recce.
Okay.
Would please do not let your dog off the lead when football or organised sport is being played.
I think that it's respect. I know they're children, but they deserve the same amount of respect as adults expect.
Yes,
And the fact is, it was clearly visible there were children playing football.
just don't let your dog off the lead when
One of the,
organised sport is taking place.
one of the notice boards is going to go up again, and I'll put some information on there as well. So when people enter the site, they'll be able to see, have a read and what have you, but also the added signage as you go through in strategic places as well, might do the trick. So,
Anything else? Any other comments? Everyone happy? Yeah. So we'll leave that to you then, Sharon, and you come back to us. Okay, thank you. Item 7, Jubilee Wood. TPI for land transfer.
I've just put the documents under your noses just so that if you can just have a look and read, and if there's anything untoward, just let me know. But if you're happy with it, I then send it back to the solicitor and happy to further that.
Okay. Councillor Taylor, sorry. Sorry.
I don't mind being the younger Taylor. I just want to say, I know these processes take time, But thank God we're now at the final stage of this piece of land becoming the town council's. And, you know, that is the key factor in us being able to actually start any works on that land.
Yeah.
We have been held up. I know we've got big plans and I know we've been trying to secure funding for trees and some grants for trees. So we are all geared up and ready to go. This is the thing that's been holding us up. So thank God.
Yes.
We're now at the last stage and we can finally say that that piece of land is ours and we can commence with some of those projects.
And I've also, just so that you know, if you haven't looked at the website, that I've got a biodiversity page that is now going live, and I will add to that and keep people abreast of what's happening. And it does include what's going to go on at Jubilee Wood, plans, etc. So, and it also has the biodiversity policy, and it also has the local green spaces, which is attached to the neighbourhood plan. So there's a lot of information there to people. And it also has an intro, which asks if anybody wants to get involved in Jubilee Wood, they can, you know, contact us, and, you know, maybe we can get a really substantial working group going of people who love biodiversity.
Can I just say on that matter about contacting schools, because they
Yeah.
do a lot, you know, projects and that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
All
fine, yeah.
Okay. Any other comments on that? No, everyone happy? Okay.
Do you want to just resolve that those documents are okay, just for good measure?
Yeah. Everyone happy with it?
Propose, yeah.
As Taylor proposed, T. Taylor second. Everyone in favour?
Thank you.
Okay. Item 8, book sale storage. Update on the search for a suitable storage site for consideration and resolution. Have we had any luck finding anywhere?
No, not yet.
Sorry, Councillor Taylor.
I know we don't really use it, and I know occasionally the football club do use it, and I don't know how windproof and watertight it is. But the like metal hut, yeah, is that not viable to put them in?
Well, I think the chairs and tables, the old ones that they have just been storing there, were perfectly fine. We could give it a go. It's not ideal, but also I think Andy is going to just look at it before. So Andy and I could possibly go down there.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was an option. I mean, even if we've got to put them in there with a tarpaulin over the top of them or something.
Depends whether the atmosphere's damp.
Yeah.
We'll take a look. Won't we?
Yeah.
I know it's not the best time of year because it's nice and warm, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, you're going to look at it structurally as well.
Yeah.
Anyone got any other ideas of storage? Councillor T. Taylor?
No, I just think that if we could get some proper storage, like cases or containers for them as well,
Yeah.
that have lids that close, that will help. So if they're, you know, if it's not the best of conditions, although it will do, that would also help with keeping them in a good condition.
I have had that in mind, but I wanted to find storage where, I know that's asking too much, where you can, they're equivalent to the old vegetable boxes, shallow, but with.
Under bed boxes, the plastic
Right,
under bed
okay,
ones, what about,
yeah.
because they're about that deep,
And they
aren't
have
they?
lids, don't they? They have lids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll look at those, yeah,
I would
lovely.
suggest if you're going for plastic boxes, look for good ones, someone like
Yes.
Rubbermaid,
Yeah,
which you can throw them about and Some
because
different.
they are going to get thrown.
and they
out,
will
aren't
not break.
Yeah.
But if you buy things out of like
Yeah,
QD,
QD, no, that's
a year,
fine,
and they've had it, so you
Yeah.
won't spend the
You
extra.
get what you pay for, don't you?
Yeah.
Any other comments? Books up? No, we're all happy there?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mhm.
yourself and Councillor Westbury looking that. Okay. The chapel, option to have the chapel listed. Councillor
This has been a bee in my bonnet for years. I think, although Brecton said it's unlikely, I think we ought to go ahead and try.
Yeah.
And get it listed, I really do. If we get thrown back, then we get thrown back, but at least we'll have tried. So When people say, why didn't they do anything? We've tried.
Yeah.
So I would
as
propose,
proposed, yeah.
it's a proposal that we go ahead and try and get it listed.
I'll
Second
second
it.
it. I'll second it.
Yeah, I was,
Sorry, go on,
I'm
sorry.
happy for councillor Westby to second it. I was going to, by all means,
Sorry,
Andy,
you
do
want to
that. But I was going to say, getting it listed will help with funding.
Yes.
And I think while we have Megan and she is such a valuable asset, maybe she can put the case
Yeah.
together for us to
Yeah.
submit to Breckland as to why it should be listed. And maybe if Sharon, Megan, maybe Cliff Amos get together and maybe have a bit of a brainstorming when she's in the office on a Wednesday, if we can pin Cliff down and hopefully get him to volunteer some time. I think if she puts us a plan together, a project, then there maybe is a better chance that Breckland would look at it more seriously.
So that was proposed by councillor Dale, secondly by councillor Westby. All in favour?
Yeah, unanimous.
Next, item 10, Games Charity Cabin request.
This just came out of the blue. It's just a suggestion from a resident really who was quite willing to supply the container and wants to sell stuff and also do refreshments for football club, etc. And you know, whenever, but yeah, I think from the football club's point of view, they already have refreshments, don't they?
I was going to say, I know somebody mentioned one time about having a coffee wagon down there at one point. But I will also say that it's probably a good idea, but I think we will need more detail as to what operation they will be doing, what kind of hours, how long they will be sited there, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's something we should still consider, but not for this meeting.
I don't think we can we?
No, I don't think
No,
so,
because of the
no.
covenants.
No, but if the covenants.
I don't think we can within the covenant, but I'm happy for you to check.
Yeah.
But B, the football club do sell their own refreshments to generate an income for themselves. So I think for somebody else to then do that might step on their toes, and maybe the resident should really liaise with the football club first, because they have a kitchen, like a little kitchenette in their building that they do bacon rolls and stuff from and stuff. So I think maybe firstly, we should check if it's allowed anyway. But secondly, maybe that resident should liaise with the football club and talk to them, because it may well be, rather than them paying for a cabin and then donating money, there may be other ways that they can support the football club. I know they're looking for sponsorship at the moment and stuff for their teams. So there may be other, but I think the football club need talking to, and I think we need to check the covenant before we make any decision.
So councillor Dale?
It says a container. How many containers are there on Gamers at the moment? 3. There's more and more
Three.
containers
Two for the football club and one for the athletics.
going on there. It's becoming a
Plus
bit,
also there's the football club itself.
you know.
Yeah, and I don't think we're allowed another structure like the football club there. Because when Breckland wanted to put the new sports hub there, it was on condition that the football club relinquished their building to get a new facility that was multi-use. So there could only be one, and it had to be on that footprint that was the footprint that was already used.
Don't use, okay. But I've
So-
got enough to be going on.
Yeah,
So we'll
okay.
put that back to you to
Thank you.
contact them. Okay, second, public participation. Any takers?
I just wanted to ask about the splash zone, whether there's any updates on that.
I have actually asked for, at district level, for members to meet with Megan, who's our projects manager, to actually get an update on that as far as ward members go, because I am very mindful devolution is coming and Breckland will be on its way out. So any projects like that, I'm eager to get started and in the pipeline before devolution comes along, so it's not lost. But I don't know if Sharon has any other updates or comments on it.
All I know is that I think she's still working on the engineering options and the plumbing, etc.
Yeah, because when I spoke with her, I asked maybe if you get other parks and stuff around that just have the water systems without the changing rooms and the all the stuff that comes in, just like fountains that come on and off, like automated that children can just run through.
Yeah.
I think there's one in Eaton Park, isn't there? So although it is fountains, that they are just like they're timed, aren't they? And they make patterns and they come on and off. And I don't know if that would be more feasible and more deliverable in the lifespan of Breckland at the moment. So that was what I wanted to speak to Megan with. So we still got the facility, but not in the scheme or plans that are on the table at the moment, but we didn't lose out on having something to entertain the kids, just on a different scale. So hopefully if we can organise that meeting in the near future, I'm happy to come back to you on that.
I'll leave that with you, Sam. Anyone else from the public? No? In that case, items for next agenda. Anyone?
Football leagues,
The updates.
and perhaps maybe I'll have some information on this proposed cabin.
Okay, anything else? Councillor
Chapel.
T. Taylor?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm just picking up on what was raised during the first public consultation about the SEND day, either at the open spaces or the next full council agenda, whichever you think is more appropriate. Could we have an item to feedback on the event? And then also, to decide whether or not that will be something that the town council does annually.
Can I suggest that we do that for council? Then all the councillors are involved in that feedback. Any other items for next agenda? No? In that
Maybe
case,
have that splash pad, like if I can get something from Megan, or if you can arrange something with Megan, maybe a report back on that, and maybe the chapel as well, if Megan's been able to look at something then. I keep throwing stuff at Megan, I do apologise to her every time I see her. I've had a meeting with her today about something else, but yeah, if we can maybe get those reports on from.
okay. I've not think you're going up, so, okay, in that case, then I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you for coming.